Welcome, movie fans. Thanks for joining us for episode 117 of Reading Between the Reels, the premier podcast of low-risk nostalgia bait. If you're a new listener, we're so glad you found us. If you've been enjoying the show, please like, follow, and subscribe, and review us on iTunes or Spotify. You can also support the show by posting on your socials and joining our Facebook group. I'm Craig Dickinson. I'm joined tonight by Justin Eldon. We have Corey with some voicemails, so he'll be joining us, kind of. Justin, how's it going tonight, bud?
It's going pretty good. I hate the sound of my voice, so I never listen to our episodes. And I forgot that our intro music sounds super cool.
Yeah, it slaps, as the kids say.
It does slap, no cap. Or cap. Wait, dang it.
It's pretty sus.
Cap means lie. No cap means no lie. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. No cap, it slaps.
So, Justin, since the last time we talked, what have you been watching?
Oh, I've been watching some things. I watched. I think last time I mentioned like Severance. I finished season 1 of Severance, which was just so good. Jumped into season 2 of Severance, which, oh my goodness, so much better. I mean, the season 1 was good, but season 2 is a lot better. Especially in terms of like cinematography. They really stepped up their game. I don't know if they just are like, hey, this is a hit, we can actually like dump some money into this. But there are some pretty crazy shots in there, and it seems like in terms of like parallelism and like the rule of thirds and triangles and all that basic cinematography stuff, they really focus on setting up every single scene to be like artistic. What's a better word for that? Intentional. Just every scene seems very intentional.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. So I've been watching that. And then Netflix advertising finally got to me, and I've been watching Yellow Jackets on Netflix, which I think has 3 seasons now. I think I'm almost done with season 1. I don't love it. It's not great. I feel like all the advertising for Yellow Jackets was supposed to be like, ooh, this is supposed to be so mysterious, and it's not. It's like Lost, but watered down. I'm not a fan. I would like to be proven wrong, though, so maybe it's good. Maybe someone out there can tell me, hey, this is actually good later, but no. So far, not a fan.
Okay.
What have you been watching?
Well, so I've been watching a ton of movies, but the ones I want to focus on, I bought them a while back, but I had been neglecting to watch the last 2 Star Trek The Next Generation movies, Insurrection and Nemesis.
Ooh.
And they're not that good. Insurrection more or less just feels like a longer episode of the show, and like it's kind of pointless. They made a movie out of that. Nemesis is okay. I mean, it's not great. It's not awful. It's just kind of mediocre. You got young Tom Hardy in it. That's probably the biggest draw from that. And I think the biggest thing with that is, he plays Shinzon, who's a clone of Jean-Luc Picard. I think the biggest issue I had with that, and most people did, was that was kind of the end of the Next Generation story, and so like it kind of went out on a very mediocre note. But now with Picard season 3, like they actually wrap up that stuff really well, and you get like, this is a good goodbye to that cast. And so I think knowing that's not the end helps that movie a lot.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is, and I talked to you a little bit about this off mic, was I watched all of the Predator movies I had not seen over like 3 days. So I had I'd seen the original like when it first came out, and then I had never even seen Predator 2, and then I watched them all, like, even the Alien versus Predator ones. Which the first one I think is okay. It's not great, and it's not canon because it messes with stuff, especially after Prometheus and Alien Covenant and whatnot. But, and I mentioned this to you as well, but my favorite of those, and I think even more than the first one, is Predators. The one,
which is weird because most people
with
Adrian Brody.
That's my favorite Predator movie.
It's not a well-loved one, but I watched that too, and I was like, this is solid. I really liked it. And I don't think Adrian Brody gets enough credit for just being great in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely against, he doesn't usually play action heroes. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to buy him as that. And I absolutely did.
Yeah. Well, I think I watched some interviews with him, and he was saying he went to like extreme crazy lengths to get the body for that movie. And he was really disappointed that the movie bombed so bad because how much work he put into like getting toned.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was a really interesting twist on the whole Predator concept. I think it's been repeated over and over again, but I thought, and I mentioned this to you too, I thought like that the title could be a double entendre. It could be also referring to the humans, because none of them are good people and they all, kill people, especially when you get the little twist. Sorry, spoiler for a 15-year-old movie. When Topher Grace is revealed as who he is, like, yeah, that makes sense. That's who these people are.
Mm-hmm. I think too, it goes into some good, you get a little bit more like Predator lore. Did you see, sorry folks, we talked about this off camera, off mic. You ended up watching Prey, right? The Hulu one? Was it Hulu? Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
What did you think
that was okay.
Overall?
I mean, it was a little slow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I liked it. Like I said, it dragged it in different places. I did like the end and how she kind of outsmarted it. And it also kind of killed itself. I liked that it tied into Predator 2. I liked that it because like the perception was that it was going to be, Mary Sue, girl boss type of thing. And it very much wasn't that. Like, she got her butt handed to her multiple times. She needed a lot of help to take down this. It was kind of a group effort. She just happened to be, in a lot of ways, like Ripley and Alien, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Ripley was such a badass that she took, the xenomorph down. She just was lucky in some places, and everybody else kind of slowed it down. And, it was one last thing. She's just the last one happened to be alive.
It felt more like the original Predator more so than anything, because like you said, it's a group effort and whatnot. But I also thought it was cool to see the Predator in that movie, in Prey, kind of with like modern effects. Like I thought he looked really cool. All of his weaponry was really cool. We get to see the Predator gives her that, or no, I'm sorry, not Predator. One of the Frenchmen gives her that gun that is in Predator 2 that you kind of like see referenced. There's a little tie in there. So they're, they have some Easter eggs in there. I liked it, but yeah, you're right. It is fairly slow. There's a lot of like character development, and by the end, I'm like, I don't know if I super care about this character, but it was fun overall.
Yeah, it was fine. So let's talk about what we're doing today. So we've kind of taken a little break from, we finished finally the Marvel Before the MCU series, which kind of went out with a little bit of a whimper with Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and we're about to start a new series, and we'll talk more about that at the end. But we wanted to kind of just take a break, and while we do these series, we want to kind of just call it like a palate cleanser, right? So do something new, something different. And so today we're going to talk about our selections for the top 5 movie remakes. And so, like I said, we've got some voicemails from Corey, and I figured we'd probably play his first just so we can kind of react to what he said, and then go from there. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. I do want to point out that, like, as we're getting into this list, I don't think we had like criteria on what constitutes as a remake, right? Like, is a legacy sequel a remake? Is a what's it called where it's like a reboot remake, like a reboot sequel? I think we counted those as well. Like Suicide Squad, right? That's like a reboot sequel. So I think we're going to count that too. So this list may end up being all over the place. We'll see how it goes.
I tried to not make any kind of restrictions on it so we could kind of talk about those and midway through and go, oh, I hadn't considered that kind of thing. So.
All right, let's do a Corey voicemail.
So I'm going to go ahead and play the first of Corey's. You ready? Okay. And he's going to do his, we'll do from 5 to 1. So here's Corey's number 5.
Hey, Craig and Justin. I got my list. I'm not being excluded today for the top 5 remakes. Here we go. I'm going to start my list. Number 5, True Grit. The John Wayne one was great. He does play that character, Rooster Cogburn, wonderfully. but I think the new one is just much better in conversation, how they talk. Jeff Bridges does a great job. Even though he's a mumbler halfway through, you have to watch it with closed caption on. But one of the best lines in the whole thing, and they kept it in there, "Fill your hands, you son of a bitch."
Yeah. Minor spoiler. I had to load up Corey's stuff, so I try not to listen to it too much. But there's, I know a little bit of what he's going to come up with, but I did not have that one. I did not have that film, but I did think about that film. What?
I had that as like a maybe, because I do really, really like Jeff Bridges, but I grew up in Arizona where there are a lot of John Wayne fans, and I have several that would probably hunt me down and end me if I said that anything is better than John Wayne's original. So I decided not to put that on my list, but
Yeah.
I did really like the remake. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. So what's your number 5?
Okay, I don't know if I have these in any particular order.
And that's fine too.
But one of them I am gonna go with, and this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt some people, but Total Recall. So I know the original Total Recall with Arnold is like sacred to some people because that's like an
Okay.
Arnold staple, you know. But hear me out. I saw the Colin Farrell one first, so in my brain, that's the original. So I saw the Colin Farrell one first. I really liked it growing up. It was really awesome.
Fair.
I like sci-fi, and it kind of felt like Minority Report-ish to me. Maybe it's because I saw them around the same time. It's solid. And now when I go back and watch the Arnold Total Recall, I think it's weird and makes me feel icky inside. But yeah, Total Recall, it just has like a really cool aesthetic to it. Colin Farrell, I thought, did a really awesome job. There's like a fun twist. I think it's well done. It's kind of corny if I were to go back and watch it now, which kind of scares me. I don't want to go back and watch it because I want it to remain a happy place in my brain.
Okay. And you know, it's interesting that you brought that up, that you saw the remake before the original. My list, I think I've seen one of the originals, but I'm just like, I know this is a movie I like, and it happens to be a remake, and that's kind of where I'm going with. Not necessarily comparing the two, but the first one I want to talk about is actually that one. It's The Mummy from 1999, starring Brendan Fraser. Is technically a remake of the 1932 film starring Boris Karloff, and I really enjoy this film. I mean, the CGI for the most part holds up pretty well, better so than the second one for sure. But I just remember seeing this in the theater and having already seen Army of Darkness. I was like, yes, this is very much like in tone with what I would see Ash do, and the way that Brendan Fraser's character reacts, like he's not afraid. Yelling back at the mummies and that kind of stuff. It's a fun roller coaster ride. Still holds up. I watched it recently. Still fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my number 5.
You know what? I'm going to call bullcrap on that one, though, because it has the same title, but that's not the same movie. Those are different movies.
No, Imhotep is in. That's the name. I looked this up. That's Boris Karloff.
Okay.
Plays, and there's
right.
some of the things. So yes, it is a stretch, but
Same villain. All right,
Yeah.
we'll take it. Can we talk about the tragedy of Brendan Fraser? Like, that guy in The Mummy is so good, and just like
Yes.
is such a good like lead role action hero, quintessential. Like, he is what lead roles. I don't know. He like embodies that quite a bit, and then he just kind of drops off for a long time. And I know he's got like a whole tragic backstory going on and everything, and that makes me sad. But he's great in that movie. Not talking about any of the sequels; they're all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the whole cast is good too. I mean, Rachel Weisz is in that before she became like big Oscar-worthy actress, and the guy who plays her brother, I can't, his name's escaping me at the moment. Yeah, it's all great. The great cast, lots of fun. Fun movie. So here's Corey's number 4.
All right, fellas, going with the only comedy that I have on this whole thing for remakes. I'm going to go with Fun with Dick and Jane. Jim Carrey, I believe, makes any movie entertaining. But at the same time, he has some seriousness in some of these lines and some of the scenes that he does that really snap you into reality of a good movie, of a family just struggling through some of the finances and some of the unfairness. And Alec Baldwin is always good as the villain. And so I think this movie was absolutely done really well. I think it fit with kind of our where times are with people struggling and trying to make ends meet and just some of the unfairness of things. Um, but overall, I think it's just a great movie because of Jim Carrey and Tia Leone. I think they do a great job together and have some good chemistry, and that pulls this movie off. So I knew you were thinking of Dune. I know one of you probably said that, and I stayed away from that one intentionally. So, all right, there's my list.
Okay.
Dune is on my list, but I haven't said it yet, Corey.
Yeah,
who's not here.
It might be on my list too. Yeah, I have not seen Fun with Dick and Jane. Either one.
I saw it forever ago. I thought it was fine. Didn't know it was a remake though. Did not know that.
Yeah, I think.
And remaking
George
a comedy,
Siegel,
I feel like
think.
that can't be easy.
No, I don't have any comedies on my list. So.
I don't either.
What do you got for your next one though, Justin? Yeah.
So my next one is 2005 War of the Worlds.
Oh. Yeah.
With Tom Cruise. Lots of running in that film.
It's a Tom Cruise film.
I'm realizing that a lot of these are sci-fi. I'm a sci-fi fan, as many people know here. I thought it's really well done. It's very like emotional. You see this dad that is not super invested in his kids, and then he's kind of like forced to take on the role of taking care of them as the world's ending. And anyway, it's done really, really well with like it doesn't show the alien all that much, and that kind of stays true to the original story. It doesn't show the alien a whole lot, and it's very much like a character-driven film. Anyway, I really like it, and I just saw it a couple months ago, and I feel like it still holds up, even though it's it's 20 years old now. Mother Hubbard. Jeez.
Oh my goodness. Same summer as Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with most of what you just said. I don't have that on my list, but I'm like, oh man, that could have been on my list. Yeah, I showed my kids that within the last 6 months, and I hadn't seen it in forever, and they both loved it. It still absolutely holds up. Great performance by Tom Cruise. You got young Dakota Fanning in there as his daughter, and I mean the whole thing with the airplane crash, the way they don't show you that, but then you get to see the fallout from that it's great. It's one we're going to talk about when we do Spielberg movies, because he has kind of this. There's kind of 3 stages of this alien invasion thing that he's got going on. This by far the darkest of those 3.
Yeah, and if you watch it with
the others,
if you're being pessimistic about it, you can kind of look at it and watch it with like, you can see that they were cutting corners with the budget by not showing a lot of stuff and just kind of showing actors' reactions to it. But I think it really works. Like, you don't really see a whole lot of the military fighting. You see it a little bit. You don't really see a lot of the alien invasion part. You see a little bit. It's more just the dad and the kids trying to survive, and it's pretty terrifying. What do you got next, Craig?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think of it like in terms of like Signs is kind of similar to that way. The M. Night movie in a lot of ways. Okay, so my number 4 is another movie that I did not know was I forget that it's a remake. It's a remake of the 1991 French film La Totale. The Total in French. I don't speak French, so sorry to our French listeners. True Lies from 94, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, Bill Paxton in one of my favorite roles of his as the used car salesman. It's a fantastic film. I love it so much. It's ridiculous. He has a terrorist guy hanging off of a missile on his jet, which he fires through a building into a helicopter full of other terrorists.
Okay, when did that movie
Yes.
come out? Because that sounds very 1990s.
It is 1994.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
So it's kind of like the like Terminator 2 comes out in 91, and this is like the next James Cameron film. So it's him and Arnold reunited after the success of T2, and it's kind of like I don't know, let's call our shot and go for this. But yeah, it is fantastic. The only thing I don't like about that movie is the fact that Arnold, and this is a small thing, does not say "I'll be back," but that had become kind of his catchphrase, and so not having that. But yeah, that's recently re-released in 4K, and I watched it recently, and it's still super fun, very quotable. Tom Arnold, who looked kind of like a nepotism thing that he got hired there, like no talent guy, married to Roseanne, and then he is hilarious in that movie. Lots and lots of fun. We have the thing with riding the horse through through the building and whatnot. Yeah, just a ton of fun. Let's take a listen to Corey's number 3.
All right, here we go. My number 3 remake I'm going with, and now this is a classic. This is a classic, and it kind of hurts to say that the remake is equal to or better. I'm going to go with Total Recall. I think Colin Farrell does a great job. I actually really like this movie. I don't think it did as well in the box office. The plot was a little less clear than... but the original Total Recall even had a kind of a wonky plot other than the blue sky on Mars. And but this one's got some great action scenes and some good imagination in it. And they kept some of the same scenes in there, which I kind of liked, especially the dream sequence scene where his friend's trying to talk him out. It's a great movie. I actually really liked it. I think this is a good remake. It could have actually used a sequel even. All right.
Corey, I always knew I liked that guy.
So our first official repeat. We've been hinting at another one, but yeah. So we've talked about that already. He likes that better than I've not seen it, so I can't really comment on that.
You haven't seen the new one?
I've not seen it. No, I saw Total Recall, the original one, in the theater. But
Old.
I am old. 1990, I believe. Yeah.
Really?
Paul Verhoeven. Yeah, same director as RoboCop and Starship Troopers. Am I remembering that correct? I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Justin, what's your next one?
So my next one is, I think most people, especially Craig, can agree with this one. This is the 2016 Ghostbusters. It's the all-female cast with Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, I really just think it stays true to the spirit of Ghostbusters. And, I mean, obviously the original Ghostbusters was lacking, as everyone can agree. I mean, the original cast just didn't really, have it. Mm-hmm. Dan Aykroyd, just really. I'm just kidding. I can't do this.
No,
this is a straight up. This is a straight up lie. I've never even seen that movie. I own the movie because I got it for free, and I've never even seen it.
I watched it once, yeah, just to say that I've seen it. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I literally have this on my list as 2016 Ghostbusters (parentheses to piss Craig off). So
I do love 1984 Ghostbusters so
the 1984 Ghostbusters is amazing. So I'm not counting that. That's not my actual pick here. Actual pick though would probably be Nosferatu.
Oh,
it's the Dracula ripoff, but it was good. Obviously the original, I don't think it appeals to audiences today because it's so freaking old. When did that come out?
That's like a silent film too, right? I
know
it's in black. No, the original one.
Yeah, 1922.
Is there dialogue in that, or is it just like the little cards that pop up? Yeah,
yeah. So
it's iconic, but
yeah,
I've never seen it. Either one actually.
I tried watching it just when this new one came out. I tried watching it, and it's over 100 years old. Like,
yeah,
movies have changed a lot. Audiences have changed a lot. So I don't know if that's a fair pick, but I really liked the new one. I thought it was really good. I'll probably never watch it again. It's one of those movies where I'm like, that was really well done, and I think I saw all I needed to see, but it's very, very slow, but it was interesting.
I understand, yeah. And when you bring up an interesting point, though, I love, like, it's 100 years that's a good and long time before you make a remake, right? Because I was thinking, like, what... Because we're doing this all the time now, remakes, and you'll notice that there's a complete lack of Disney remakes on any of our lists. I'm assuming
I got one coming up.
Oh, darn it.
Just one.
Dang it.
Sorry.
But my point is that it should, in my opinion, it should be at least a generation, like, and not like the 10-year generations like we have now, but like back in the day where it was like 20 years before you'd make a new one. Yeah. I mean, exceptions would be, like, I would say, like, True Lies makes it, like, if you're remaking a foreign language film into an American, like, that's a very different animal. But if it's like, hey, this happened in the last 10 years and now we're just going to do it again because we need to make sure we hang on to the IP, which is that's what we have 3 different iterations of Fantastic Four. Like, we get 4 now, because we have to keep the rights. That's why Spider-Man rebooted. We have to keep the rights. We have to keep a movie in production. No, I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Because if you are waiting a generation or more, your audience is going to change. Their interests are going to change. The way, like, we consume movies as humans changes. What we're looking for, like, all that stuff. Technology, obviously. Like, the original Nosferatu still has a lot of... Craig and I have both taught film classes in some form or another. And... I think we both use Nosferatu. Like, I used a couple scenes from that to kind of explain cinematography. But are any of the kids in that class ever going to see that movie? No, probably not. But it's still iconic in the way it did things, and it, like, set the genre, and it set up filmmaking the way we have it today. But it's still, as a whole, much slower and oddly paced in a way that, like, we can't really relate to today. But the new one, also still slow, but good. Well done.
Okay.
For the most part. Like you said, I probably saw more than I wanted to. There was some nether regions that I could have done without. I don't need to see Dollar Store Dracula's nethers. I'm good. Just skip right over that.
I like it. You just keeping it PG. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. My number 3 is from 1999, The Thomas Crown Affair.
I don't even know what that is.
Which is a remake of the 1968 film starring Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway has a cameo in this as the psychiatrist of the main character, Thomas Crown, who was played by Pierce Brosnan.
Ooh.
Pierce Brosnan, Rene Russo. Dennis Leary has a very large role in this as well. It is a heist film. I love heist films. It's directed by John McTiernan, who did, we mentioned Predator earlier, did Die Hard 1 and 3. It is a fun, great film. Fantastic score. Super clever. Lots of twists. I highly, highly recommend. Like I said, I haven't seen the original, and I have no desire to, because I can't imagine a movie being better than this one. As far as, like, this is one of my favorite heist movies. It is Pierce Brosnan at his absolute suavest. Is that a word? He's super charming, very clever. He's basically a super wealthy businessman who's bored, and so he turns to thievery.
I think I want to watch that movie just based off that description.
And Rene Russo is she works for the insurance company, and it's her job to catch him. Yeah, It is fun. It's a good film.
And Pierce Brosnan is just great.
Yeah, it's really fun. Great score, like I said. Great action sequences. Dennis Leary is good there for comic relief and pathos, and it's just a good fun movie.
Am I alone in my extreme desire to want to punch Dennis Leary in the face, simply based off his face?
No, he has a very punchable face.
Yeah, I really want to punch him. I'd pay money to punch him.
He's likable in this, though. He is not an a-hole in this. He is funny. I will say, just quick aside though, it's not a movie you watch with your kids. It is. There's a little bit of playtime, a little bit naked playtime in there. So just be aware of that.
Oh, okay. I don't typically watch Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, good film. Okay, let's see what Corey had for his second to last film.
All right, here we go. My number 2 remake. I think this is an incredible job. Made it better on the movie. Dredd, 2012, remaking Sylvester Stallone's Judge Dredd. I think Carl Urban does an incredible job in this movie. It's much more of a action movie and less hokey. I do believe that the old Judge Dredd movie was a great movie. I actually really liked it. I think the villain in that movie was really good too. But Sylvester Stallone, I am the law. It just, it was not quite fitting that character as well. Carl Urban does a great job. He's a dark movie. I tell you what, this movie could have had a sequel. That's how good this movie was. So the remake was better than the original on this one.
Dread was on my honorable mentions list.
I have to watch. I've not seen it. It's
the new one or the old one?
I saw the Stallone one in the theater.
Okay.
But I have not seen the new one. I've heard it's great. I've heard that every time there's a list of movies that deserve a sequel and never got one, that's on the list. I love Carl Urban and everything I've ever seen him in.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I've not seen this movie. So
yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right. So my next one. Are we on 2 or 3?
This is 2.
This is 2. Again, no particular order.
Second to last.
Since we mentioned Disney remakes, so the original cartoon Jungle Book came out in 1942. That can't be right. That's not right. Okay.
Is it?
I'm looking at the wrong one.
Feels like a 60s.
It is. I was sorry. IMDb, the cover art lied to me. It is the 60s. Okay. I was going to say 1942. That can't be right. All right. Yes, the original 1967, the cartoon. And then in 1994, they had a remake.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
I watched it a lot as a kid. Like, you know how as a kid you just have like certain VHS tapes in your house and you just watch them over and over and over again? This is one of them. And I really, really liked it. You have John Cleese in there, who is awesome. That's the first movie I ever saw him in. And then Lena, I don't know how to say her name. Lena Headey plays the love interest Kitty in there. She's like in Game of Thrones, and she's in Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles, and all that.
300.
Anyway,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. You also have I'm gonna mispronounce this guy's name because I always do. Carrie Ills
Elways
from
Carrie Elways.
Is that how you say that? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's really good in there.
Dread Pirate Roberts? Yeah.
He plays a villain, and he just has a fantastic death scene in that movie. Love him. So I really like that movie a lot. Like it's nostalgic. But I also really liked the 2016 Disney remake.
I like that one too.
It's got a really good voice cast in there to play all the different characters, and I really think the voice cast is what's going to make that movie. So like you got Ben Kingsley, Bill Murray, Idris Elba, Scarlett Johansson, Christopher Walken as King Louis, which is fantastic. Like the whole movie is really good, and I think it does a really good job. Okay, so like the Disney remakes, it's a tough sell, right? Because it's 100% nostalgia bait, but at the same time, you can't do a shot-for-shot remake of the original cartoon because then everyone would be like, oh, why are we watching this movie? This is so stupid. I've already seen this. But then you also can't vary too much from the original because then people get really mad that you varied from the original. So it's like you're kind of stuck, which is why I'm so confused that they keep remaking these movies because they suck. But I think somehow the Jungle Book fits right in there where it stays true to the original just enough, but also has some new stuff just enough to kind of appease both audiences. And I thought it was fun and funny, and I just thought it was overall well done.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I like that one too, and I think some of it is how far apart the cartoon and the new one is, because like a lot of the new ones are like, hey, from like the Disney Renaissance is kind of what they're doing, like from the mid 90s upwards, and so it's like we saw these films as kids, and now we show them to our kids. Is that's kind of the idea. Whereas this one's like came out before we were born, and a lot of us maybe didn't even see it, or have only seen it once or twice. And so, like, I don't have an emotional attachment to the original film like I would for some of the newer stuff. Like, I remember vividly seeing The Lion King and be like, wow, that was freaking great. Like the animated one, you know what I mean? Whereas this one, I was like, yeah, I kind of have a passing knowledge of it. And so it's, even though it is a remake, it also still feels fresh because I don't really know the original film that much.
I need to go back and look at all the remakes because I'm wondering, because I like Dumbo too. Dumbo was a good remake, and that was another old original. And I wonder if maybe that's why I like some of those, because they are older. I think we're coming to some conclusions here, Craig. Like, for it to be a solid remake, you need time in between the two.
That's my opinion. But I also think every time think about remakes too, I always, and why you shouldn't do a remake, I think of movies like Psycho, which I've never seen the remake because I kind of like, I know it's a shot for shot, and you just talked about this. Why would I want to watch that? Because the Hitchcock film from 1960 is a perfect film, and now you're just aping it. Why? No, thank you. It will obviously be inferior because of that.
Yeah,
so I have no desire
is a hard line to walk.
Yeah, it really is. Like, but I like don't remake movies that are already. We've talked about this too. Don't remake movies that are already good. Remake movies. This is why I'm so excited for Highlander with Chad Stahelski and directing and Henry Cavill. We're like, great concept, poor execution. Give me that. And that's where, not to make this too smooth of a transition, but that's where my next one comes in. There is, and to be honest, I have not seen the original, but I'm going to assume that it's kind of hokey and cheesy. Ocean's 11 from 2001 is a remake of the 1960 film starring the Rat Pack. So it's a Frank Sinatra vehicle, right? Like those guys are like, they made this movie so they could hang out and drink. Right? And to be fair, like when you got Clooney and Brad Pitt and Matt Damon and those guys, they're also doing that, and they did 3 movies, and supposedly there's a 4th one coming down the line. They made these movies also to kind of hang out with their buddies. And so I was like, okay, this is going to be whatever. It's just going to be full of stars, and it won't be that good. But it's incredibly rewatchable. I love heist. This is my second heist movie on this. I love heist movies as a genre. Super quotable. It's very rewatchable, as I said. Great cast, obviously. Clooney and Pitt, who's eating in every single scene. Julia Roberts, Andy Garcia, Matt Damon, Casey Affleck. Elliot Gould is hilarious in this. It's and that cast
works so well together. Like they have
Don Cheadle. Come on,
they have some of the best chemistry with such a large cast, and like every single one of those just hits every single time. Between like Damon, Clooney, and
Brad Pitt.
They're just fantastic together. Yeah, so funny.
Yeah, just and then I like all 3 of them. You add Catherine Zeta-Jones to the next one, and then you just keep, and then Al Pacino's in the 3rd one. It just keeps layering it in there, and it is. They're just making this movie to have fun, but I think that absolutely translates. Like these are all fun movies because they're having so much fun as they're making the film.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking the movie seriously, but not themselves. So, yeah, that's and the first time I saw that movie, I was like, yeah, that's a good movie. I don't ever need to see it again, and I've since changed my tune dramatically on that. So, all right, let's hear. This is Corey's last one, although he does have one honorable mention. So here's Corey's last one.
All right, here we go, fellas. I'm going to go with this as my number 1 movie remake of all time. Absolute fantastic remake. Took the story and made it even better. The Magnificent Seven. I mean, this was a good movie I watched as a kid. Growing up, I was big into Westerns. I guess my list shows that.
Second
new
Western
remake with Denzel, Chris Pratt, all of the level of characters and that they develop in this one is so much better. The dialogue is great. The humor is in there a little bit better. And I got to tell you, between Denzel and Chris Pratt carrying this movie, even though every single guy who's in this, the 7 are incredible, but those 2 alone just make this an incredible Western experience. And so this is my number 1 movie for remake.
Okay.
That's
I've
fair.
seen that one. It's a good movie. Which is funny because, of course, the Magnificent Seven is a remake of Seven Samurai. So it's a remake of a remake. And that whole story's been retold so many times. But that is a fun movie.
I really think Westerns need to come back. Like that needs to be a genre again. Now that the superhero genre is kind of dying out, can we bring in Westerns next? That would just be fantastic.
Yeah, we've talked about this off mic too. I mean, like Yellowstone has proved that there's an appetite for that genre.
Yeah, and I mean, there's even like in this list, I have a bunch of honorable mentions. 3:10 to Yuma. That is an underrated film.
That's on my honorable mention list too. I just rewatched it too. Great film.
For some reason, I've seen that movie like 4 times, and every time I watch it, I'm like, I don't think I've seen this movie. And then I'm like, oh, I have seen this movie.
There's
like,
a lot in that movie. Yeah.
For some reason, I always forget that it exists as a film, but it is really well done. Okay, am I going for my number one right here?
Yeah, your last one.
I'm gonna do like a runner-up honorable mention list here first.
Sure, we can do that.
Even though this is not in any particular order. So honorable mention, Spider-Man, the second reboot, not the third reboot. With Andrew Garfield,
the best Peter Parker.
Yes.
In my opinion.
So the first one with the lizard, not the second one, which is terrible with Electro. So Andrew Garfield with the lizard. What one's that? Is that called?
The Amazing Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Dennis Leary's in that.
Oh yeah, and I want to punch him in that movie too.
Emma Stone is so good in that movie.
Yeah, like okay,
She's so charming. Yeah,
Emma Stone, I think, is the best Mary Jane, and Andrew Garfield, I think, is the best Spider-Man of any Spider-Man we've gotten. He's got the wit, the way Spider-Man has the wit. I think he has the proper body type. I know a lot of people had issue with that movie and the suit because the suit is very dark, especially when you're coming from Tobey Maguire's kind of like Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi's happier Spider-Man suit. But I'm fine with it. I thought it looked pretty cool. It's the wit. It's 100% the wit. The way he insults the villains. That scene where he's in the parking lot and the villain like pulls out the knife and he's like, "Oh my goodness, my one weakness, small knives." Like, it's so good. He nails it, and I love it so much. Like, I think all 3 iterations. No one hate me. Don't send me death threats. I think all 3 iterations are great. But that one is my favorite. It's well done, and I think it is underrated. Anyway, but since all 3 were good, I don't know if I could say it's the best remake because the original was pretty solid too. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes.
Your list of honorable mentions.
Oh, yeah. So a couple other honorable mentions. Jumanji, kind of like a remake reboot thing. Thought that was really good.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty solid in terms of remakes. Hairspray, I really liked that movie. I think I've seen that movie in theaters more than I saw any other movie. Something about the music really just hit me. I don't know what it was. It was a weird time. I had just graduated high school. It's the whole thing. Like, it's good, but I shouldn't have seen it like 5 times in theaters. I don't know what was up. All right, number 1 favorite remake. But again, the original is still awesome, but the remake is also awesome. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp.
Oh, hot take.
Because they're both good. They're both really good. I'm not dissing on the original. I love the original. But believe it or not, Johnny Depp's version, or Tim Burton, I guess we should say, Tim Burton's version, is more true to the book than the Gene Wilder version. And Johnny Depp is just so funny. There's so many good quotable lines in that film, and it's perfectly weird in the way Tim Burton films should be. And the author of the book, I can't say his name, Roald Dahl, however you say that.
Roald Dahl, yeah.
I can't, whatever. I feel like all of his movies should be, all of his book to film adaptations should be directed by Tim Burton because they're just, it's perfect. Not a fan of the Oompa Loompas. The Oompa Loompas are weird and creepy because they're all like copy paste of the same guy. Not a fan. But everything else, spot on, beautiful. It hits. It slaps. Boom. Brought it back.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna play Corey's last one, his honorable mention, and then I'll go through my list here.
All right, listen, I've got one more. I don't know where I forgot about this one, and I was just now watching some clips of it, and I was like, heck yes, this is in my top 5. So you can take any one of my top 5 list except for the Magnificent Seven, and you could bump them off my list and put this one there. I'm gonna say Star Trek, the remake with Chris Pine and the whole cast was a brilliant show. I absolutely love that show. I love how they reimagined the characters. They took this legendary show like Star Trek, which I think is incredible, at times competing with Star Wars movies. And I think at the same time they took it and rewrote it and reimagined it into a new generation, and then they rebooted that. And I absolutely love it. Takes a completely different direction. It allows them to bring in some time travel, which kind of pushes the old Star Trek towards a alternate universe, or this one to an alternate universe, which is a great way to bring in new people to an old genre. Now, here's the other part about it that makes this show so much incredible. I remember going to this, sitting in the theater, watching it, and there was this, like, must have been 75-year-old couple that you knew watched and grew up with this show. And for them to sit there, you knew this was a show rebooting, remaking, and then bridging the gap of generations. And it's rare that you find a show that does that. So this right here, Star Trek, has to be one of my top remakes of all time. All right.
Oh man, I don't want the Star Trek crowd coming after us. Those are passionate fans.
First thing I'll say, just real quick, I'm gonna let you jump in. I was at that same screening. That was like the first year that I knew Corey. So I remember that in 2009. I remember him coming in. He sat up. Him and his wife sat up. But there was a bunch of us. I was working at Housel Middle School in Prosser at the time. But a bunch of us went all together and watched that movie. And Corey was up in front, and yeah, we had a good time. And this was back, like, I was just after finishing Alias and loved J.J. Abrams, loved everything J.J. Abrams. And so I was like, give me the J.J. Abrams. That's where I was at the time. Not saying that's where I'm still at, but that's where I was at the time. So what are your thoughts, Justin, on 2009?
I just want to say praise for the remake is by no means criticism of the original. You just stay away, Star Trek fans. Okay, we're cool here. We're cool. I mean, I like those movies too. As someone who has tried very hard to like Star Trek their entire life and will go through phases where I binge watch. Like I've seen all of them, some of them multiple times, like all the series, Deep Space Nine, all the stuff. And I try and really like Star Trek. I really do, but just sometimes I'm not feeling it. But then the new ones, I really like the new ones. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get like anthrax in the mail now.
This is the part where we say that's because you like that because it's not Star Trek.
Yes,
because it's Star Wars that's repackaged.
I don't think Star Trek is made Star Trek in its say like next generation form. Mm-hmm. It's not made for film. In a lot of instances,
yeah,
I think it's meant to be episodic because it's. I don't know. Just the formula doesn't work for an hour and a half, 2 hour film.
I tend to
change
agree.
the formula.
I tend to agree. I think that the original cast there was a magic with them that you can't recapture in any other way. They tried to do that, but
wait, like original, or
original, yeah, like the Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelley cast was so beloved. And then of course you also have like so it's like a mythos that built up around that because it was only on for 3 years and it was always in danger of being canceled, and then it got canceled, and then it got brought back as an animated series that the original cast voicing that, and then you have the possibility of another series, basically a reboot of that series. Star Wars happens and explodes, and science fiction is popular, and it's making money, and so then they go like, hey, let's make a Star Trek movie, and then the first movie is just long and ponderous and frankly boring. But then you get Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which I would put up there with like one of the best science fiction films ever. And so you have this, like, they're back. You know, they were gone for like 15 years and then they're back. So you have that too. Whereas everything else has been like Next Generation was like, it was off, and like the show ended and then a movie happened, like almost immediately, which is what tends to happen with those things. And so I think there's a lot of that. Plus, I think, like, how are you going to top Shatner and Nimoy? You just can't. Those three main characters together, DeForest Kelly too, I should mention, together. Kirk, Spock, and Bones, that's just magic. Which I think that's why the J.J. Abrams series tried to do that. Like, let's just capture that again.
See, that's funny, because when I think Star Trek, my brain goes to Next Generation. And it's probably, a generational thing. But to me, that is Star Trek, not Shatner. Again, Don't hate me, please.
No.
Calm down, everybody. Calm down.
There are many entry points, but let's see, that was, 87, 88, right around there. So I was like 10, 11, 12 when Next Generation came out, but I had seen the original series. My parents had introduced me to that, and I loved that show.
Yeah, I just feel like Star Trek is like syndicated into oblivion.
Yep.
So as a kid, I watched that on TV all the time. It was just always on, no matter what channel you went to.
Yeah, but then I remember when Next Generation came around, I was like, yeah, I'm in. And then it was like, it's weekly, and it was new, and I watched that from the beginning and watched it religiously and loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very soft spot in my heart for that. But yeah, and I do like the new films. Like I just kind of there's a little bit of a disconnect, because I do love them, but I also acknowledge the fact that they stray very far from.
It's not Star Trek.
The second one, especially, Into Darkness is very counter, like, what Star Trek is about.
Yep.
But I mean, Chris Pine is great. Zachary Quinto as Spock is great. The whole cast is great.
Yeah.
In that film.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to what we were discussing before. Like, it's a remake, but it's a remake made for a different, newer audience, because the way we digest films has changed. The slower format, while it may be superior for some people, doesn't always work for general audiences. If they made a Star Trek film in the same way that they made a Star Trek film in the 90s, it would not have done well. Yeah. The diehards would have loved it, but diehards aren't the only ones buying tickets.
Yeah, and the Star Trek films were never huge blockbuster films either. So that's kind of, especially now in this environment where it's, $250, $300 million budgets, and you got to make $1 billion to break even, kind of thing. So
yeah.
Anywho, enough on Star Trek. My list of, I don't do what you did. I'm going to lead up to my number one. My list, I'll just go through quickly. I watched it for the first time recently and didn't know that it was a remake at the time, but The Maltese Falcon, starring Humphrey Bogart, was a remake of, I think they made it like the year before. But Maltese Falcon is fantastic. It's it is the quintessential, like the prototypical, like film noir, hard-boiled detective femme fatale thing. It's just great. A film that we are going to be talking about in just a couple weeks, Insomnia. Christopher Nolan's Insomnia, his second film, is a remake. It's a foreign film. I want to think it's Swedish. It's got Stellan Skarsgård in it, so forgive me if I got that incorrect, or let me know in the comments or on our Facebook group or whatnot. The Italian Job. With another heist movie. You got Mark Wahlberg, you got Charlize Theron, you got Ed Norton playing the bad guy. Jason Statham's in that. Yeah, Michael Caine, I think, was in the original one. Great film, lots of fun. Some other ones. I had 3:10 to Yuma on my list, which is lots of fun. I need to see it again, because I was like, there was so much, but I enjoyed it. It's good. I can bring back the westerns. Some other ones real fast. The Fly, with Jeff Goldblum, is a remake. The Thing with Kurt Russell.
How is that not on anybody's list?
It's great, though. And then the last one I have is Ben-Hur, the Charlton Heston one, which won 11, 13 Academy Awards, the Chariot Race, all the things. Just fantastic film.
Never seen that movie.
Oh, dude, you'd like it. It's really, really good.
I know. I need to watch it.
And it's one of those things that influenced so many things. But my number one, which I thought you had this on your list somewhere, but here's mine.
My list changed.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to cheat a little bit because this is a remake of the 1984 David Lynch film starring Kyle MacLachlan, introducing Kyle MacLachlan, Dune. So I'm taking Dune Part 1 from 2021 and Dune Part 2 from 2024 because it's really one movie cut in half.
I took it off my list because I wanted to be hipster and cool and original, and I thought all three of us were going to choose Dune because, yeah, the new one's amazing, and the original one is not great.
No. And I have a soft spot in my heart for it because I love the book. I love the story. But it doesn't feel... Again, I've said this when we talked about it on the show. When we talked about Dune Part 1, my highest compliment I can give that film is that it feels like the book. Like, yep.
Lord of the Rings in space.
Yep, this is what I was looking for. It's Denis Villeneuve. It's beautiful. Great. Speaking of cast, great score. Hans Zimmer. I'm looking forward to more of that series. I know they're going to at least make Dune Messiah, and I'm hoping they go at least through Children of Dune. That's a good stopping off point. It gets progressively weirder after that, but we'll see.
That is a great cast.
Yeah.
That's one of those movies in my brain it sits in the same category as Avatar, where it's like it comes out, is amazing, everyone talks about it, and then like it just disappears. You never hear anything about it until they make another one, and it's so weird because it's huge, right? And then poof, gone. It's like it leaves the culture it hibernates for several years.
Yeah. Well, we're starting to get a little bit of rumblings because they're getting close to pre-production. We had something recently with Jason Momoa confirming that he's back. Not exactly as Duncan Idaho, if you haven't read the books, but yeah, he's back. And then the latest I've heard in the last couple of days, Robert Pattinson is being eyed to star. And that didn't say exactly which character, but there's rumors about who he's going to play.
He seems like he would be in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That tracks.
Yeah, I think so too. So, Justin, any final thoughts on remakes in general or any films from our list? Anything that you left off or just thought of all of a sudden?
I'm just getting warm fuzzies right now. How much I love movies. Like, they're so great. They make me happy. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
They're just good times. I'm glad that somewhere out there's a timeline where like movies aren't a thing, you know? But I freaking love them and they just make my heart warm and fuzzy. Sorry, those weren't good final thoughts.
No, you're good. No, me too. Well, here's the thing. So the last series that we did, we mentioned this on the last episode too. Like it started off with a bang with Blade and it was like, yeah, this is awesome. And like the first 16 films, first 8 films pretty much were like, this is pretty solid. I feel really good about this. I'm really enjoying revisiting these. And then some of them like near the end, I'm like, I guess I'll watch that again.
Yeah, several of these I'm just like, why does this feel like a chore to have to watch this movie? I don't want it to. Like Ghost Rider, I don't want to watch that movie. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, I don't want to watch that movie. Don't make me do that.
Yeah. But I think we have some wonderful things coming up. Like, our next film, we're going to start our series, which we we moved some things around because it made sense, especially after Deadpool and Wolverine, to jump right into the pre-MCU stuff. But yeah, the films of Christopher Nolan is coming up next. And like I've told you and Corey both off mic, like it's going to be quite a shift from, we're going to watch these movies that they just come pumping out because of the license and they're just trying things and seeing what happens to. These are legit great film after great film after great film. Great performances, like remarkable films. So
yeah, we'll probably mention this several times over the next several episodes, but Craig and I have a teacher friend who has been on another episode, the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring episode, and he is not a Christopher Nolan fan. He does not like Christopher Nolan movies, and Craig and I are both just like, what is wrong with you? Like, I couldn't think of a Christopher Nolan movie that I don't like. They're all solid, and I'm just gonna have to rethink my friendships because I just don't think that's very un-American of him.
Yeah, Yeah. So I hope you guys join us for that. I know, like, that's one thing I've sent out several polls and put comments in, like what are the things that make you choose to listen to a movie podcast? And almost always the biggest prevailing answer is the movie that you're covering. So
go figure.
Yeah, go figure. So I think that's going to be a fun adventure for us to go on. And as we close, we just want to thank you guys all so much for listening. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Email us at readingbetweenreels@gmail.com or use the SpeakPipe app on our website. If you enjoyed the show, please like, follow, or subscribe and review us on iTunes or Spotify. And one last thing, our next episode, as we kind of talked about a little bit, will be the start of our series on the films of Christopher Nolan. And we're going to start with a review of Memento.
Nice.
So send us an email or voicemail about your favorite moments from Memento, and we'll share it on the next episode.